Thank you for setting the scene, Nick. Um, so I have been a member of the Red Nation since the fall of 2019. And I'll admit that when I first joined, I didn't know why Palestine. I um, I was, I guess, like almost confused even, like why the Red Nation was so gun ho for free Palestine. And now that I've been in the Red Nation, I know exactly why we are so gun ho for free Palestine. And that's because free Palestine is the tip of the spear. This is the only issue that we've seen or come up that like truly unites the entire left. Everyone left of center is free Palestine, and this is the uniting cause that we're seeing right now. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the work that we've done throughout the years. When I actually a year after I joined the Red Nation, I had the honor and privilege of going to Palestine on a delegation with the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights and Eyewitness Palestine. And I saw for myself everything there. And at the same time, during that same fall of 2018, that's when the Red Nation wrote our first political position, Palestine represents an alternative future for Native nations. And ever since everything popped off, every week we are releasing content and media talking about our analysis as the Red Nation and really just doing everything in our power to educate everyone about this. We're trying to get tribes to sign on to moving towards free Palestine. We launched a website, Indigenous.Palestine.org, where right now we're at over 676 signatures of Native people who agree on decolonization. But I also wanted to really express what that means. And I can't think of a better example than when we went to the historic march on November 4th in Washington, D.C., the March for Palestine. And it was there, you probably heard this speech before if you've been in the streets, but it was there where 5 or 6 of us in the Red Nation wrote this. And we say, today we deliver a devastating blow to colonialism. As Indigenous people of Turtle Island, we proclaim that decolonization and land back are the only forms of justice for the crimes of settler colonialism. Native people, unfortunately, have been here before. We know the entire history and future of Palestine because we have lived it. We endured the settler colonial project that calls itself the United States. We survived the elimination and removal of our ancestors, and we are in our 5th century of resistance. We know that Palestine's future is a certain future because we are still here. Yet, Palestine represents an alternative path for the Native nations of Turtle Island. In this moment of our shared history, Palestine brings us closer than ever before to the promise of true self-determination for all colonized peoples of the world. We fulfill our ancestors' dreams by standing with Palestine today. Palestine is the tip of the spear that steers us all toward liberation. Settler colonialism holds nothing back, and yet it cannot defeat those whose cries for liberation resound louder than any bomb they can drop on us. Colonialism is failing, crumbling under the weight of its own conceit. The fort is breached and the wagons are burning. The end of colonialism nears because the end of colonialism is inevitable. The United States wages wars to maintain its position as the supreme settler colony of the world. Ours is the oldest struggle against U.S. colonialism. Now is the chance to redeem your humanity, settlers of our stolen lands, by standing with Palestine and standing with us. The end of U.S. imperialism is the only solution for us, for Palestine, and for the world. Mark our words. The humble people of the earth have spoken. There is no place for colonialism on Mother Earth. For the earth to live, colonialism must die. A free Palestine frees us all to build a future of peace and equality. Today, we join our Palestinian relatives in a righteous struggle to author a new society. To our relatives in Gaza, we say that in the Navajo language, "Kebnehizil," together we are strong. May our message carry far across the sea. Gaza, Gaza, you will see. Palestine will truly be free. And we read that to a crowd of 600,000 people. And that's what it's about. That's what I learned when I went to Palestine, even before. What I learned is that this is we have the exact same struggle as Native people here in Turtle Island, because this is a struggle against settler colonialism. I am not Indigenous because of my language or my tribe or my ties to the land. I'm Indigenous because it is a political position in the constructs of settler colonialism. If settler colonialism had never happened, I would just be Tewatoa or Kohaiahanu or Akume. I would be from my nations because settler colonialism never existed. So therefore, Palestinians are Indigenous because of their political position in the constructs of settler colonialism. And that's why we say that Palestine is the tip of the spear for our struggle here on Turtle Island, because the wins for land back and decolonization that happen in Palestine are very much wins for us here, and vice versa. And that fills me and us in the Red Nation with just immense hope that this can be done, because what we're seeing in Palestine right now is a win. What we're seeing in Gaza right now is a win. I know that we are devastated, and I know that we have lost so many innocent people. I know how many children that we have lost. But do you know what else we're seeing? Is that Israel and the United States are not in control. They are not in control right now. We are seeing them out there with their entire ass, and they're still failing. They have arms and they have bombs because they're cowards. They're not winning and they're not in control. And when I say that they're winning, their original demands are being met. There are free Palestinian prisoners right now, because let's remember what this is all about. This is about the freedom of people who have been locked up by colonizers for simply existing as an Indigenous person in an occupation. And that's the same battles we have here. Free Leonard Peltier if you want to free Palestine. And that's what this ultimately is about. This is a battle of ending settler colonialism once and for all. We know it can be done because Palestine is proving to us all that it can be done. And that's why supporting Indigenous movements here and uplifting Indigenous movements is a win for Palestine. And when we dismantle, and I guess what I'm trying to say is that the Indigenous struggle here isn't simply to vote, isn't simply to protest. It is to give the land back. It is to deconstruct the settler state in every stage that it exists. The United States does not have a right to exist. Israel does not have a right to exist. Australia, New Zealand, all of these settler colonial projects do not have a right to exist. And so when we're thinking about what we want to do, we're not going to come up with actions where we're going to target the Democratic Party for not doing enough, because that's their party. That's the settler state. Why are we putting our energy into voting and into uplifting these settler state candidates when we need to be building Indigenous nations as an alternative to building that power to deconstruct settler colonialism. And that's what Nick is saying, that this is not just an Indian problem. Do not project settler values onto the struggles of decolonization, because this is not just an Indian problem. A decolonized world is a free world for all. It doesn't matter if you're Indigenous or not. We all need clean water. And with that, I just want to end with a plan forward. Maybe I can talk about it a little bit later. But the Red Deal. If you haven't read our book yet, if you haven't looked on our website, like, that's literally our plan. That is what we want to, how we see a decolonial struggle moving forward in the United States. Let's divest from occupation. The United States military is the largest military in the world that spans 800 bases across the world. Imagine if we defunded just one of those bases. How much money is that? How much housing is that? How much food is that for people? Divest from occupation and reinvest in our common humanity and our earth. The United States owes us here in Turtle Island and people across the world climate debt to clean up the mess that they made. And so let's make that happen. Thank you.